A Knight in Armor by Sarah Jane Bryan. Introduction. The year was 1152. A bloody war raged through England. Armies of knights fought the battles. These soldiers fought with heavy swords, sharp spears, and thick shields. Knights rode on horseback. They wore heavy metal suits of armor to protect them. They followed a strict code of honor. Young William Marshall was only 5 or 6 years old, but one day William would become one of the greatest and most famous knights that ever lived. This is his story. Knights spent much of their time fighting battles. Death sentence. John Marshall was an English nobleman. He was losing a battle against King Stephen. Marshall told Stephen he needed time to arrange a peace treaty. He gave the king his youngest son, William, as a hostage. That meant William would be the king's prisoner until his father made peace with him. But John Marshall went back on his word. Instead of making peace, he brought supplies and men to help him win the battle. That meant that young William would be killed. Luckily, King Stephen liked William. He decided to let the boy live. The king's choice changed history. A few years later, William began training to be a knight. Castles were often surrounded by a moat or ditch filled with water. Becoming a knight. William would never inherit any money or land. That was because he was a younger son. To earn a living, he became a knight. Knights were paid to fight for kings or other rich people. William traveled far away to get training. His cousin was a powerful man who trained many knights. He lived in Normandy, which is part of France today. William worked in his cousin's house. He learned how to fight and use weapons. He also learned how knights lived. William studied for 8 years. He couldn't wait to become a real knight. Knights used this armor hundreds of years ago. Like the knights pictured on this old tapestry, William fought on horseback. William got his chance to be a knight when he was about 20 years old. War had broken out between England and France. William's cousin needed him to help fight. The night before the first battle, he made William a knight. The battle was fierce. Horses thundered through the streets. Swords flashed through the air. William wanted to prove himself. He raced to the front of the battle. William thrust his spear with so much power that it broke, so the young knight grabbed his sword instead. Suddenly, William was trapped. A large group of men attacked him. They pierced his armor with a large metal hook and killed his horse. Still, William fought on. Now on foot, he kept swinging his sword. At the end of the day, England won the battle. The helmet William wore in battle probably looked like this one. William Marshall became the greatest tournament fighter of his age. He is said to have fought in 5,000 tournaments and never lost once. William had showed his strength and courage in battle, but he showed his ignorance when it came to the spoils of war. Knights captured armor, horses, and an antique or two to make money. William had taken nothing. His armor had a hole in it, and his horse was dead. Back at his cousin's house, William heard about a tournament. This was a contest for knights. It was a way for the men to practice fighting. William fought with all his strength and skill. Soon he captured 3 knights. William won the tournament. He took home a valuable horse as his prize. Serving the royal family. Soon William decided to return to England. He joined a group of knights led by his uncle. One day, they were protecting Queen Eleanor of Aquitaine. Suddenly, her enemies attacked. William's uncle got the queen to safety, but then he was killed. William was very angry. He fought as hard as he could. He didn't even remember to put on a helmet. This carving of Queen Eleanor of Aquitaine was made soon after her death. William's uncle was killed in an attack. The young knight then went to work for Queen Eleanor of Aquitaine. During the battle to save Eleanor, William was hurt and taken hostage. When the queen heard about his bravery, she paid his ransom. He went to work for her for many years. The queen liked William. He was one of her favorite knights. Her husband, King Henry II, asked him to serve their son. Also named Henry, he was known as the Young King. When his father died, young Henry would get the throne. The young king didn't want to wait for his father to die. He decided to rise up and seize power. What did William think about the young king's quest for the throne? No one knows, but William had promised to serve young Henry. According to the knight's code of honor, William had to remain faithful to the young king. Some tournaments lasted for days. The young king's plot failed. His father forgave him. Then the young king decided to go to Normandy. There, he and William entered many tournaments. William won these contests again and again. Stories of his exploits were told throughout the land. William gave away many of the prizes he won. He was also known for his honor on the field. William became a hero, like a sports star of today. Among the kings. The young king never got to take the throne. He died in 1183. William then worked for King Henry II. The knight no longer fought in contests. Instead, he bravely fought in many battles. William was a great fighter, but he was also smart. He was good at coming up with plans to win battles. King Henry died in 1189. William went on to serve King Richard and then King John. These kings relied on William. They needed him to help them win battles. They also trusted him. William was known for being honest, loyal, and noble. In return for his work, the kings gave William land and gifts. William was now a very rich man. King John gave William this castle and made him Earl of Pembroke. In 1216, King John died. His 9-year-old son was crowned King Henry III, but the boy was too young to rule a country. Until the new king grew up, William was to rule England. The knight would have all the power of a king. In 1216, King John died. His 9-year-old son was crowned King Henry III, but the boy was too young to rule a country. Until the new king grew up, William was to rule England. The knight would have all the power of a king. When William took control, England was plagued with many problems. Wars had used up all the country's money. Many people were very poor, and England was still fighting a war with France. The last days. William had grown old. He ruled England for just 2 years before he died, but during that time he transformed the country. William found a clever way to raise money. He sold the royal jewels. Then he used his military experience to help him win the war with France. William died on May 14, 1219. Crowds came to honor him. King Philip of France had been William's enemy in battle, but after William died, he said, "William Marshall was the most loyal man and true I have ever known." This carving of William Marshall is part of his tomb in England. Responding. Target vocabulary. Word builder. Who do you admire that has done a daring deed? Make a chart around the word exploits. In the first column, list someone who has done a daring deed. In the second column, list what his or her exploit or deed is. Copy this chart and add more words. Write about it. Text to text. William Marshall did many daring exploits. Write 3 questions you would like to ask William Marshall about being a knight and his exploits. Role-play your interview with a friend. Use words from the chart in your writing. Target vocabulary. Antique. Exploits. Faithful. Ignorance. Noble. Pierced. Plagued. Quests. Thrust. Transformed. Target strategy. Question. Ask questions before you read, as you read, and after you read. Word teaser. If you don't get a check at the end of dinner, you get me.